How's it going, everybody? Will here again. Welcome to Anchor Farms channel. It got a lot colder out since the last time I filmed. It went from like 90 to like 40. Well, 50-degree drop in temperature. But maybe, just maybe, we can get a frost. And all of our crops are turning, so I don't want to wish frost on anybody whose crops aren't turning, but maybe, just maybe, we can get a frost and help kill some of these leaves. Just a thought. I don't want anybody to get mad at me. Just saying. Yep, these are more like it. Hopefully we'll be able to run on these tomorrow. With everything getting in the ground at an uneven time, and not at the same time, everything's coming off in the order it went in, except for corn. Corn is just taking a long time to dry down. I'm gonna go run out, do some moisture checks, and just see where we're at with those. I'm gonna pull some ears here, and I don't think I'm gonna do a moisture check on this because this stuff is very green yet. Just wanna I just want to look more at the ears and see what we're looking at as far as potential yields and that kind of stuff. And this was planted into a wheat stubble this year. And if you look, no weeds, 100% no-till. Every single one of these, look at this, perfect. Perfect. Look at these earthworms right here. See it? See its hole? He's outside of its hole. But normally they come out at night. The reason he's out right now is because of the shade and the moisture. So I'll put him back here. But if you look, every little one of these little clumps, like there's a clump, there's a clump, there's a clump, there's a clump. It's kind of a little bit hard to see, but if I go and say I pull this clump back right here, there's going to be a wormhole underneath it. Right here. Look. There's the wormhole. Walk up here. See this clump right here? If I pull this back, there's going to be a wormhole. Look. Wormhole. So what they do is those earthworms come up at night and they pull all of the residue that they can get from around their hole, and they put it in a pile, and that they come up when they want food, they come up, they pull it down, they eat that residue, and it turns into waste, and the worm poop goes back into the soil, giving it nutrients. That's how organic matter gets broken down. So all the residue that's left in this field at this point in the year, I can see it all. It's all in worm middings. They're called worm middings, or these piles are. And that's just so impressive to me because we're 100% no-till operation, and it's out of the way. It's really cool to see. You know, we use our earthworms and our soil microbes and our soil structure as our tillage tool. I mean, why not let them do the job that they already want to do, and we are being better to the environment and better to our soil that we have here. So this back there, yep, that's the cornfield I was just in that I was showing you, those worm middings. And this goes from there all the way up to there. Now this was our sweet corn patch. I sell sweet corn in the end of the summertime in August, just for some extra money. So this was where our sweet corn patch was. So this field goes a long way that way. And if you pan, or if I pan, behind this tree line is the Susquehanna River. If I continue panning, this field here is a conventional soybean field. Now, it's one of our bigger fields, but that's our conventional soybeans. We got 5 acres of them. We have 35 acres of them. And we're going to try to get a premium for them because they're conventionally grown. And if you keep panning up there behind those trees, right in there, up behind, is our house and our yard and all of our buildings and everything. So that's just a little bit of a view from where I'm at right now. As I was saying, it got quite a bit colder out, so I'm gonna take this sprayer off of this four-wheel. I just drained it, and I'm gonna store it in our barn here, which is just mainly seed storage and winter equipment storage. I'm gonna go over here and do a moisture check up there at that cornfield up there. This is some of the barley that I planted last weekend. It's looking really good. It's coming up really even. And then this big field here is a cover crop mix that we planted. It's got rye, wheat, field peas, crimson clover, sunflower, and as you can see, some foxtail right there, but we did not plant that foxtail. So this is some of this corn. As you can see, it's drying down really fast. It's the first field that we planted this year. Very dry. Ears are a little smaller than I'd like to see, but honestly, it's not bad. It's a hill ground out here, so I can't complain too much. So I just did that hand check on that field of corn, and the moisture tester was reading, like, I tested it 3 times. It was 19.8, 19.4, and 18.4. So I figure that is a rough guesstimate of around 19%, 19.5%. So, and doing a hand check like that, you always want to add 3% moisture, just simply for the fact that there's a lot of variability in the field, and you never know where you took those ears from. So 3% of moisture is always a good baseline to, you know, to add on. So yeah, I figure that field there's around 22% moisture, and we could shell it right now, but I mean, it's gonna get cold, it's gonna frost, it's gonna dry that corn out a little bit more, and that'll really push that down into the 17 to 18% range, and that's what I'm really hoping for. Oh boy, I got this really fun job now. I get to winterize the sprayer, which is back there, right in there behind this tractor, because it's hooked up to it. So to do that, I have to drain the little bit of juice that's in it, gotta get all the water out of it, flush the booms, and then I've got 24 gallons of RV antifreeze to run through the system. Woohoo! So there's a sprayer right there behind this thing. That's probably not going to start because it's kind of cold out and it never likes to start. So we're going to see what happens. Well, guess what? It turns out I was millennial farmered, and now I have to jump the tractor. Since I can't get that tractor started, I'm just gonna open all the valves and unscrew the ends of the wet boom and let all the liquid drain out of the booms and keep the valves open so they don't freeze shut and break and crack, and put the charger on it overnight, and then I'll finish winterizing it tomorrow. But tonight it's just not gonna be on the charger long enough to start and do everything before it gets dark. Well, here we are. I've got I had the tractor plugged in and the block heater plugged in for like 2 or 3 hours, and now the tractor's running, if you can hear that in the background. So now I get to try to do all this stuff in the dark, which is really, really fun. Not really. So open this up because I'm gonna have to get in there. I got a whole bunch of wires laying on the ground because everything's plugged in over behind the shop that you can't see because it's dark. So sorry for that. But yeah, that's what I'm getting into now. Oh man, am I excited. I didn't realize that this old tractor still had a couple of functioning spotlights. Oh my goodness, it's just enough to, you know, be able to see back here and work, because we never have to run this thing in the dark. So I'm super excited. Alright, time to go for a little bit of a walk. What I'm doing is I got this bucket here, and I'm going to come out here and pull some pods off of these beans. And I'm going to get about half a bucket and then just thresh them out by hand. And then that way I can hand check them, do a little hand test for moisture, see if we can cut these this afternoon. So what I did is I got enough beans here, take a sample, and I just thrashed them with my hand, and then put an air compressor to them to blow the chaff out. So it basically worked. Get this set for soybeans. Just about perfect. That's reading 13.2. Well, what do we have here? We're cutting beans today, guys. So, got the grain cart in the tractor and getting ready to pull that home. Here's a view of our farm for you guys, since you have not seen it yet on this channel. Time for grain cart duty. Ooh, what do we have here? It's almost like there's something lurking. Something coming. Oh my goodness. What do we have here? I'm really excited to see how these beans do. These are more of those 2.0 maturity beans, just planted like a month later than the first stuff we took off. So yeah, I'm really anxious to see how they end up being, and they're on some better ground down here, and there's a lot of pods on, so hopefully they average higher than 60. Well, I just cut the first bin full, and they're running about 15%, but the wind's blowing and the sun's out, so we're just gonna cut. Now we should be down to 13, 14 pretty quick. back into the field. Oh geez, that was a bump. Almost got this field polished off, and we'll move right over to the next one and just keep it moving. It's a beautiful rainy Sunday morning here in central Pennsylvania. Got a whole list of stuff to do. So last night harvest was going swimmingly until it wasn't anymore. I went to unload one of the last grain cart loads. Well, no, I guess it wouldn't have been. I went to unload one of the grain cart loads and the gearbox went out in it, or a shear pin broke or something while it was full of soybeans. Excuse me. And then we made the decision to just park that till today, and then I took our truck down to the elevator to have it to dump it. And when I was down there, I was putting it up in the air and the hydraulic line blew, covered me in oil, spilled like 5 to 7 gallons of oil all over everything, and 50,000 pounds of wet soybeans came crashing back down onto the frame of the trailer. So got to deal with that today and get that line fixed so we can take those beans down Monday. I got to finish winterizing, finish the sprayer so I can put it away. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, just a nice casual day for a farmer. And then out here to get those beans out of that grain cart, I'm gonna use our 8-inch auger and run them out of the bottom like a hopper bottom into a gravity bin so we can work on that. But that's why I didn't film last night. It was just too much going on and my hands were all oily. I didn't want to get oil all over my phone for one, and it was just, everything was a mess and I just wanted to get done. So you'll get to see stuff today though. Got the auger drug out and set up. So the tractor I'm going to use to go over and get the gravity bin out of the metal building is this old Ferguson 50. Here's the setup. Got the wagon, got the cart, auger. So this is what this mess looked like last night, or it looks like from last night. It's just covered in oil everywhere. This is the hose that blew right where that duct tape is. Everything just a mess right now. So okay, I'm heading over to town. I got to get some parts. I'm actually going over to try to get the hydraulic hose made for our semi so we can get those beans unloaded tomorrow. Me and a friend of ours, Mike, is working on our grain cart right now. We determined it's a problem in the gearbox. We don't know what exactly the problem is, but we can just feel the gears jumping and slipping, and there was no oil in the gearbox. So there's a leak in the front of it too, so that's why there's no oil in it, and that was my mistake from this fall. I'm glad it happened now, but so we have time to work on it because it's raining, but still a hassle. And then I get to go back to class today, or go back to school today because I have an exam tomorrow. Love being a college student farmer. We finally got that gearbox tore apart, and we're gonna price out the guts for it to rebuild it, or we're gonna price out the new gearbox and see which one we're gonna end up with. But right now I'm just gonna take the cart back over to the equipment shed because it's not doing any good here. So until next weekend. This is some cover crop that I planted into some of our prevented plant, well, not really prevented plant, and drowned out all the way back through this